Hello, Flosstube. This is Veronica with Night Stitch, and today I'm doing a February summary of everything I stitched in February. It's the morning, so I'm having some coffee, and there's a lot, so let's get started. Trying to decide how to do this because I have information on my computer and I have all of my projects, so I'm trying to decide if I should just pull one off the stack and then try to find it in my computer, and if I do that, then you may have to watch me scroll a little, or I could edit that out. It's the morning, so I'm a little, you know how I am in the morning. Gotta make a decision. Okay. This is Christmas Advent Calendar by Doreen Jones, and this is day 7. So I started this in February. Well, everything I'm gonna tell you is for February. Oof. This is gonna be rough. Okay. Here is what I did. So I started this on February 10th. I finished it on February 25th. I worked on it a total of 6 days in February. It is 44 high by 25 wide, and it has 950 stitches total. And I had set 2 goals on it when I worked on it. One was to finish the chestnut, and then the other was to finish the project. I also fully finished this in February. This one is bacon and eggs. This is a Mill Hill kit. It's part of the Spring Bouquet collection. This is 36 high by 36 wide. And it has 1,296 stitches in it. I started this on January 22nd, 2025, and I worked on it for 4 days in February. I put in 338 stitches in February, and it has 880 stitches total done on it in a combination of beading and stitching, because I finished all the cross stitching on February 11th and then I started beading. So it's at 67.9% done, and it has 416 stitches left. And my goal on it was to get to 1,000 stitches, but I wonder if it'll be done before then, so we'll see. This is Taste of Europe. This is a pattern by DMC, and it's free on their website. I recharted mine. I'm doing it on Glowing Dreams by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. So, let's see, where can I? So it's 94 high by 136 wide. It has 12,784 stitches total. I don't know when I started it. I worked on it for one day in February and I put 250 stitches into it. So now it has 1,554 stitches and it's 12.16% done. And it has 11,230 stitches left. My goal for it was to put in 250 stitches, which I did, and I did that on February 4th. This one is my Savior's Words. It's by Imaginating, and it's designed by Connie Abel. I'm doing it on Memories in the Rain by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lucana. And this is 138 high by 179 wide. It has 24,702 stitches total. I started it on July 22nd, 2024. I worked on it for 2 days in February, and I put in 484 stitches in February. And now it has 5,043 stitches, and it's 20.42% done, and there's 19,659 stitches left. And my goal was to finish one phrase and one floral set, which I did. And I finished that on February 12th. This next one is my skyline temperature chart, which I have fallen behind on. I have marked all the days' temperatures, including today's, but I only finished stitching up until this check mark. I'm doing this on Molten Magic by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. And the top row is January, so that one is done. The second row is February, so it looks like it's halfway, but I think that's just because February is such a short month. So this is 200 high by 205 wide. It has 42,025 stitches left. Or no, total. In February I worked on it for 4 days and I put in 581 stitches. So now it has 2,538 stitches and it's at 6.04% done and it has 37,530 stitches left. This one is Christmas Advent Calendar Day 8 by Doreen Jones. And I'm doing it on Naiad by Under the Sea Fabrics. And it's 44 high by 25 wide. And it has 1,110 stitches. And I started it on February 26, 2025. And I worked on it for 2 days. And it has 210 stitches in it. It's 19.09% done and it's got 890 stitches left. My goal is to finish it so I can start day 9 so I don't fall behind on my trying to stitch all of them before December. This is Arctic Animals Club by Frosted Pumpkin. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it's still a stitch along because it's still going on. Doing it on Ashes to Ashes by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. And I am still caught up with it. Clue number 10 came out, so I'm working on that. Clue number 10 came out on February 27th, so I started it. No, it didn't. It came out in the beginning of February, like on a Thursday. Yeah, I waited till February 27th to start it. Clue 10. So this is 166 high by 126 wide. And it has 20,916 stitches total. I worked on this for 3 days in February, and the first 2 days were for finishing clue 9, and the third day was to start clue 10. And I put in 702 stitches in February, so now it's at 12,295 stitches, and it's at 58.78% done. And it has 8,621 stitches left. This is Punch Today. It's by Stitchspiration, and it's in the Heroes and Villains edition of the Mr. X Stitch magazine. I'm doing this on Neverland by Fiberlicious. It's 28 count Opal Lugana. And I changed the colors of the paint splotches to red, white, and blue because I'm not a huge fan of yellow, and I like red, white, and blue, so that's what I did. This is 129 high by 125 wide. My goal is to put 100 stitches in it, which I didn't do yet. It has 16,125 stitches, and I worked on it for 1 day in February, and I put 61 stitches in. So that's what I mean when I say I did not get 100 stitches in, because it's 100 more stitches than what I had before. So, now it has 1,040 stitches in it, and it's at 6.45%. Or at least I put 6.45% more into it than it had before. Because I don't know that I started tracking this from the very beginning. So it has 15,085 stitches left. This is Lighthouse by Jan Lynn. I'm doing it on Pressed Petals by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. And get it out first before I start telling you things. So it's 52 high by 55 wide. My goal is to get to the top of the lighthouse, which I did. And it has 2,860 stitches total. I worked on it for 1 day in February. I started it on January 29th, 2025. And I put 107 more stitches in it in February. So now it has 207 stitches, and it's at 7.24%. And it has 2,653 stitches left. Oh, and my second goal was to put 100 stitches in, which I did, because I put 107. This is Stitcher Saying by Doreen Jones. It is in the World of Cross Stitching magazine, and it's also on her Etsy shop. I'm doing mine on Dreaming Blossoms by Fiberlicious. It's 28 count opal Lugana. It's 138 wide, high by 110 wide. My goal is to put 100 stitches in it. It has a total of 15,180 stitches. I started it on May 1st, 2018. And I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 59 stitches. So I have not hit the 100 stitch goal, and there's 3,192 stitches total. It's at 21.03% done, and it has 11,988 stitches left. This is one of my new starts for February. This is Post Nap by Spruce Craft Co., and it's done on Singing in the Rain by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. This is 70 high by 70 wide. It has 4,900 stitches total. And I started it on February 26, 2025, and I worked on it for one day, and I put 60 stitches in, and it's at 1.22% done. And it has 4,840 stitches left. This is also a February new start. It's Halloween Pumpkins by Peacock and Fig. I'm doing it on Persephone by Fiberlicious. It's 28 count opal Lugana. It's 90 high by 70 wide. It's got 6,300 stitches. I started it on February 26th. I worked on it for one day, and I put 81 stitches in it. It's at 1.29% done, and it's got 6,219 stitches left. This is the World's Postage Stamp by Soda Stitch. And I'm doing it just like this. This is done on 28 count even weave, and it's MCG Textiles, and it was white when I got it, and I dyed it green and blue. It's 309 high by 118 wide. It's got 36,462 stitches. I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 146 stitches. I didn't set a goal for it, and it has 4,321 stitches done. It's at 11.85%, and it has 32,141 stitches. My goal probably should be to finish the Paris stamp, because that's what I started working on. So I think I will put that here in my computer. There. This is Wine and Dessert by Soda Stitch. And I'm doing it like this. I'm doing it on Jadeite by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. This is 103 high by 204 wide. And I'd set a goal earlier to put 500 stitches in, which I did, and I didn't set another one. It's 21,012 stitches total. I worked on it for 3 days in February, and I put in 492 stitches. So now it has 1,123 stitches, and it's at 5.34%, and it has 19,889 stitches left. This is Paris by Riolis. This was a whip go for February, and my goal was to put 100 stitches in. This is 14 count Aida. This is what came with the kit, and I wanted to use it because it had the background. So it's 221 high by 165 wide, and it's 36,465 stitches. I worked on it for 1 day in February, and I put 100 stitches in. So now it has 3,100 stitches, and it's at 8.50%, and it's 33,365 stitches left. This is Egyptian Queen. This is what it looks like. I have the crop of Queen of the Nile, Queen of the Leopards. I always say Nile because it's Egypt. So this is 311 high by 350 wide. I'm doing it on 25 count vintage country mocha. And I started in the middle. And I'm working my way up towards the top left, so I worked over here. So this has 108,850 stitches total. I worked on it for 2 days in February. I put in 410 stitches. My goal was to get to 500 stitches last time, so I didn't put it. Oh, and then my other goal was to get to the left hand side of the current page I was working on, which is over here, so I finished that goal as well. So now it has 5,480 stitches, and it's at 5.03% done, and it has 103,370 stitches left. And I'm doing that 2 over 1 full cross. This is Portrait of Veronica. This is Mirabilia. I'm doing it on Monster Mash by Picture This Plus. It's 32 count Lugana. It's 254 high by 203 wide, and it has 51,562 stitches total. My goal was to work in the 2 hanging threads that I had previously had on it, which I did. I worked on it for 2 days in February. I put in 247 stitches, and it now has 2,314 stitches done. It's at 4.49%, and it's got 49,248 stitches left. This is Squeeze the Day by Everything Cross Stitch, and I'm doing it on 14 count white Verona. I I changed mine to be one lemon slice and one lime slice, and then I'm either going to do an orange slice or a grapefruit slice. This is 42 high by 120 wide. It's got 5,040 stitches. My goal was to finish the middle lemon slice, which I did. I worked on it for 2 days in February, and I put in 555 stitches. So now it has 1,116 stitches. It's at 22.14%, and it has 3,924 stitches left. This is His Cross by Jan Lin. It's a kit. And I'm using Under the Sea fabrics, and it's Naiad. It's 32 count Lugana. And I'm using all the kit floss. So this is 128 high by 120 wide. It has 15,360 stitches total. My goal is to get to the top left corner, which I'm still working on. I worked on it for 1 day in February. I put in 212 stitches, and it has 1,750 stitches done. It's at 11.39%, and it has 13,610 stitches left. This one is Cozy Cafe. This is by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm doing it on April Showers. It's 28 count Opal Lugana. That's what I have. It's 130 high by 168 wide. It has 21,840 stitches. My goal is to put 1,000 stitches in it. I have 374 left to do to reach that goal. I started this on January 18th, 2025, and I worked on it for 2 days in February, and I put in 203 stitches. So it has 626 stitches total. It's at 2.87%, and it has 21,214 stitches left. This is Visit London by Mereshka. This is a kit. I'm using Rose Taupe by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. And I'm using all the kit floss. It'll fit on half, so I start in the top left on one side. So this is 100 high by 140 wide, and it has 14,000 stitches total. My goal is to finish the L, O, and the N, which I did. I started this on October 10th, 2024. I worked on it for 2 days in February. I put in 366 stitches. So now it has 1,927 stitches. It's at 13.76% done, and it has 12,073 stitches left. This is Patrick Bateman by Cat's Cross Stitchery on Etsy. This is Water Sapphire 25 count Lugana. And he fits on half of it, so he is 226 high by 198 wide. I'm doing it 2/2 full, or 2/1 full cross. There's 44,748 stitches total. My goal is to put in 100 stitches, which I did. I started this on May 1st, 2024, and I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 100 stitches. So it has 1,101 stitches now, and it's 2.46% done. And it has 43,647 stitches left. This is Dragon by author Embroid Design on Etsy. I'm doing it on A Dance of Autumn by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. This is 172 high by 130 wide. My goal is to put 100 stitches in, which I did. It has 13,840 stitches total. I started this on December 27th, 2024. I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 100 stitches. So now it has 1,375 stitches, and it's at 9.93%. And it's got 12,465 stitches left. This is Pocahontas. This is by Nenny Design, but the shop is closed on Etsy. I'm doing this on Maldivian Dreams by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. It's 321 high by 195 wide. My goal is to put 1,000 stitches in, which I think I'm halfway there. So it has 62,595 stitches total. I worked on it for 2 days in February, and I put in 506 stitches. And it has 4,147 stitches done. And it's at 6.63% done, and it's got 58,448 left. This one is CSI by Clouds Factory. I'm doing it on Waiting for You by Fiberlicious. It's 28 count opal Lugana. I started it on May 17th, 2018, and I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 108 stitches. My goal was to finish the word CSI, which I did, and it has 7,125 stitches total. It's at 1,708 stitches done. It has 23.97% complete, and it's 5,417 stitches left. This is Gryffindor Crest. This is by Little Mojo, and it's on lordlibitin.com, and it's free, and it's called Epic Gryffindor Crest. And I'm doing it on Storm Chaser by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. And it fits towards the top half, so I put it up higher. So 239 high by 187 wide. I put 100 stitches in it. So 44,693 stitches total. I worked on it for one day in February, and my goal was to do 100 stitches, which I did. So I put 100 stitches in, and it has 16,334 stitches now, and it's 36.55%, and it has 28,359 stitches left. This is Christmas in London by Mirabilia. I'm doing it on Starburst by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count Lugana. I started it on May 11th, 2018. It's 297 high by 220 wide. My goal was to add 0.02% to it, which I did, but then I found out that was only 14 stitches. So I did this for WhipGo in February. So then I just added another goal to put 400 stitches. So the total stitch count is 65,340. I worked on it for one day in February, and I put in 414 stitches. So now it has 1,540 stitches done. It's at 2.36%, and it's got 63,800 stitches left. This is Rosie the Riveter by Mystic Stitch. I'm doing it on Sea Flame by Fiberlicious. It's 32 count. No. It is 36 count Edinburgh. Doing it 2/2. So it's 18 count. So it's 266 high by 200 wide. My goal is to get to the top left corner, which I think I'm still working on. It has 53,200 stitches. I have Flosstube itchy nose. I worked on it, I started it on August 7th, 2024. And I worked on it in February for 3 days. I put in 546 stitches. It has 1,794 stitches now, and it's 3.37% done. And it has 51,406 stitches left. So that is everything I worked on in February. So that's technically all that I have to show you, but because it's March and I had been a little slow on the WhipGo calls, I ended up pulling the WhipGo calls on the last Flosstube video, and I decided that I wanted to pull the prompts in March, because last time when I pulled them in February, I accidentally started one of them in January, which threw off my whole thing, because I know it doesn't really matter, but I'm following standard WhipGo rules, which are don't start the March projects until March, so don't start the projects until the month starts. So because I wanted to do that, I was going to pull the prompts in March. So now that it's March 1st, I thought I would do that here in this video. I don't have my shaker ready, so I'll do that and I'll come back. So my WhipGo prompts were, or my WhipGo projects were Christmas in the Kitchen and Epic Storybook Princesses. So for Christmas in the Kitchen, I will be putting 650 stitches into it. So got my WhipGo board here. So I'm gonna add 650 stitches to my Christmas in the Kitchen. So Epic Storybook Princesses. I will be putting 500 stitches into Epic Storybook Princesses. Down here. So that is my WhipGo board updated. So that's all I have for today. So thank you everyone for liking, subscribing, commenting, and watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.